Okay. Hi guys. So this is the story of telling. We are going to talk about storytelling, and we do that by story. Well, let us just start. We will elaborate on everything later on and explain why we did it in this way. Let's go. Once upon a time, far, far away, there was a small village called Speechity. In this village, there lived two brothers called Story and Telling. They were very, very close, and they always played together, sang together, and went mountain biking. At night, they would come together to tell each other stories. They would grab their sheets and sneak out of their room, build treehouse. There, they would cover themselves with sheets and they would tell each other the most amazing stories about dragons and knights, cavemen and dinosaurs, aliens and space shuttles. Were even spread throughout the whole village. Everybody knew the two little boys from their stories. And by, and the two brothers went to high school. Until one day they graduated and had to decide what they had to do with the rest of their life. Clearly, for the first time in their life, they had a totally different point of view. Telling really wanted to go to university and learn more about the art of storytelling, but his brother didn't agree.
You can't learn how to make good stories out of books. My brother, you have to be out there. You need experience. You need to talk to people, listen to people. There's more than Speed City.
Continued arguing for a couple of weeks and eventually decided to both follow their own path. But before that, they made a promise to each other that after 3 years, they would meet in the old treehouse to tell the best story of them all. And another 3 years passed. It was the same day they made the promise. Telling was very excited and couldn't wait to see his brother and share their stories to eventually make the ultimate story. Early in the morning, but because of his excitement, he just went to the treehouse to wait. He sat there and waited for a couple of hours. But his brother didn't show up. Was something wrong? Did something happen to him? Telling thought. But he kept on waiting, just in case. Hours became days and the days became weeks. But still there was no sign of his brother. Because of that, he decided to look for his brother. But where to start? He walked around the village and asked everyone if they had seen his brother, but nobody knew where he was. He was desperate and didn't know what to do. He decided to look in the treehouse to maybe find some of his brother's notes. He went there immediately, street after street, and eventually got to the treehouse. He climbed up the ladder as fast as he could and went in. In old places, looked in every book and in every box. He even found the flashlight they used as kids for telling stories. Moment he thought again about the time they were kids, all the good memories and all the great stories. He felt sick of his brother not showing up. He felt sad and angry at the same time. He was desperate and outraged inside. So he threw the flashlight on the ground and the flashlight broke the wooden plank on the floor. That's strange, because a flashlight would never break a wooden plank like that. So he came closer and closer and looked inside of the hole. But he saw nothing. But he knew there must be something. With his hand and felt underneath.
What is this?
He thought. He felt a hard leatherish object taped to the plank. So he pulled and pulled and was able to remove the object. Immediately he saw that it was a notebook. The cover of the book looked old and had become brown. The title of it said Stories Notebook. Occurred.
What is this doing here? My brother never told me about this.
He sat down and read the book. In there he found all of his brother's research about this one special place. The city of Lakuji. The notes were about little places, a few people, just some scratch that the brother used to plan his trip to Lakuji. He even stopped reading this notebook and just ran into the house. Essentials for his trip, stuffed them in the backpack, and ran out of the house with the notebook in his hands to find his brother. He first went to the train station to find a map. He walked into the first shop he saw at the station and catch the first train. He sat down and took some time to explore the map. He couldn't find the city on the map, so he asked the conductor,
Do you
"Price."
I cannot give you an answer, young fellow. Stop from here and go to the nearest library. Ask for Rory. He will help you.
Got out of the train at the right stop and went to the nearest library. He asked the lady behind the counter for Rory.
Silly boy. It's a game.
The counter and came back with the so-called story cubes. She said,
Throw them and they will show you the way.
continued his journey and used the dice to find his way. Finally, he came to this place. The people looked funky, colorful. Saw anything like this before. Everybody was so different as been before so far, but it felt good. And asked him,
Where am I? You're in the city of Lakuchi.
asked the man if he knew Rudd and explained what he's like.
You came here with this, right?
The guy asked.
Use them.
The man looked at him and left, telling through the dice, but nothing happened.
What does it mean?
He shouted out, but nobody answered. video.
Go too. See?
2. Oh yes, because
So-
they are looking as
We're
well.
online, man.
Okay. No, right. Oh, hello. Start.
Yeah, we had some technical difficulties, so we will start all over. We will set the PowerPoint now, so you can follow the story by looking at the PowerPoint and just listen to it, and we hope you will like it.
Why it's not there? It should be there.
Okay, just wait a minute. We have some technical
Some more
issues.
technical
So I will just explain to you a little bit. What we are going to do is teach you a little bit about the art of storytelling. So how we did it is actually we made a story about storytelling, and in that way we will teach you how to present storytelling. Okay, so we're online. It works. Let's start up. Yes, does it work?
Does the PowerPoint work?
Okay, yes, it just works. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry for the technical issues, but we're just going to continue. Like we said, this is the story of telling. It is about art of storytelling. Once upon a time, far, far away, there was a small village called Speechity. In this village, there were 2 brothers called Story and Telling. They were very close. They always played together, sang together, and went mountain biking. At night, they would come together to tell each other stories. They would grab their sheets and sneak out of the room and sit in their own built treehouse. There they would cover themselves with sheets and they would tell each other the most amazing stories about dragons and knights, cavemen and dinosaurs, aliens and space shuttles. Stories were even spread throughout the whole village. Everybody knew the 2 little boys from their stories. But the years went by and the 2 brothers went to high school. Until one day they graduated and had to decide what they had to do with the rest of their life. Clearly, for the first time in their life, they had a totally different point of view. They wanted to go to university and learn more about the art of storytelling, but his brother didn't agree.
You can't learn how to make a good story out of books, my brother. You have to be out there. You need experience. You need to talk to people, listen to people. City.
The brothers continued arguing for a couple of weeks and eventually decided to both follow their own path. But before that, they made a promise to each other that after 3 years they would meet in the old treehouse to tell the best story of them all. And another 3 years passed. It was the same day they made the promise. Telling was very excited and couldn't wait to see his brother and share their stories to eventually make the ultimate story. It was still early in the morning, but because of his excitement, he just went to the treehouse to wait and waited for a couple of hours. But his brother didn't show up. Did he forget? Was something wrong? Did something happen to him? Telling thought. But he kept on waiting, just in case. But the hours became days, and days became weeks. But still there was no sign of his brother. Because of that, he decided to look for his brother. He walked around the village and asked everyone if they had seen his brother, but nobody knew where he was. He was desperate and didn't know what to do. He decided to look in the treehouse to maybe find some of his brother's notes. He went there immediately. He ran and ran, street after street, and eventually got to the treehouse. He climbed up the ladder as fast as he could and went into the treehouse. All places, looked in every book and in every box. He even found the flashlight they used as kids for telling stories. Just a moment, He thought again about the time they were kids, all the good memories and all the great stories. He felt sick. He felt sick of his brother not showing up. Sad and angry at the same time. He was desperate and outrageous inside. So he threw the flashlight on the ground. And because of that, the wooden plank broke and made a hole in the floor. Strange, because a flashlight would never break a wooden plank like that. So he came closer and closer and looked inside. He saw nothing, but he knew that there must be something. So he reached out with his hand and felt underneath. God, he felt a hard leatherish object taped to the plank. He pulled and was able to remove the object. Immediately he saw what it was. It was a notebook. The cover of the book looked old. The title of it said, Stories Notebook. A strange feeling occurred.
What is it doing here? My brother never told me about this.
Down and read the book. He found all of his brother's research about his one special place. It was called the city of Lakuji. The notes were about little places, some people, just some scraps that the brother used to plan his trip to Lakuji. He even stopped reading this notebook and just ran into the house. He grabbed the bare essentials for his trip, stuffed them in his backpack, and ran out of the house with the notebook still in his hands to find his brother. To the train station to find a map. He walked into the first shop that he saw. Catch the first train. He sat down and took some time to explore it, the map. He couldn't find a city, so he asked the conductor.
Do you know how I can get to Lakuchi?
The conductor looked surprised. The conductor felt like having a deja vu.
Wow, it was a long time ago somebody asked me this question. I cannot give you an answer, young fellow, but I know somebody who can. Second stop from here and go to the nearest library. Ask for Rory. He will help you.
The young Telling got out of the train at the right stop and went to the nearest library. The lady behind the counter for Rory. The woman laughed.
It's not a person, you silly boy. It's a game.
The woman left the counter and came back with the so-called story cubes. She said,
Throw them, and they will show you the way.
So Telling continued his story and used the dice to find his way. Finally, place. A special place. The people looked funky, expressive, colorful. He never saw anything like this before. Everybody was so different than where he has been so far. It was strange, but it felt good. He ran into a guy and asked him,
Where am I?
The guy said,
Can't you tell, boy? You're in the city of Lakuchi. Can't you tell?
Telling asked the man if he knew his brother and explained what he's like.
Places, right?
The guy asked him.
Use them.
The man winked at him and left. Telling threw the dice, but nothing happened.
What does this mean?
He shouted out, but nobody answered. Suddenly, some old woman, she came out and she said, Telling went to her house. He got some warm clothes and a fine cup of tea. While drinking, they talked about his journey and his brother. The woman told him about her life and about the city of Lakuji.
Young boy, there are some things that you should know. I have a lot of experience and knowledge about storytelling. Let me teach you, so you and your brother can create the ultimate story. First, a question. Do you know why this place is called Lakuja?
He didn't know, and therefore she explained.
Lakuja stands for language, cultural, and geographic. I will explain. Of storytelling, you must know its definition. So storytelling is a skill that transcends language, culture, and geographical boundaries. You see, stories are everywhere and are for everyone. Part of storytelling and share your knowledge. This is what I've learned. A great story must have some kind of conflict. The main character always solves the problem in his own unique way. He must show you in honest light. Remember that first. After you figure out what your story will be about, you must structurize your text. You can use, for example, the once upon a time structure, but I think you already got that figured out. Remember to always take good care of the beginning of your story. It has to be engaging. You must connect people with your story well, on an emotional level. It can even have a plot twist.
Hey Leda, I brought some.
He stood still, sitting there with Layla. He can't believe it.
Really? Did he travel that far to find me?
Suddenly, he started crying. He walked up to telling, "So sorry." The brothers hugged. They need each other. Telling and telling needs story. Since they were back together, inseparable, spreading stories around the world. Story they've never told, because that was the story of story and telling themselves.
And this is the end of the story of telling.
The end. So thank you guys for listening. I hope that you enjoyed the story and that you've learned from it. Main point. Leave it in the comments and we will look at it. Just so you know, this by Erasmus Plus projects and Smith Creator.
And for the following 5 minutes, we will be open for questions. So feel free to ask us a question and we will give you a reaction. Hey.
1%. I think.
So, alright, so yes, it took like a lot of effort.
Yeah, we spent all day working on it actually.
Yes.
We started with a lot of good energy. Well, we drank a lot yesterday, so we were very tired, but we still pulled it off and sat here and
Trying to do something different as well, because storytelling is more and more common, but we wanted to do a different thing with it.
yeah, exactly. So instead of giving a presentation and giving you tips and advice about how to do stuff, we just like you to learn it in another way, to give you like a story, and if you can hear the story again, then you will know what's needed to write a good story actually. In its own way. So yeah, if nobody is gonna subscribe, then I think we're gonna like.
So everybody, if you like this video,
Thank you.
thumbs up. Questions, comments, everything down here in the comment box, and subscribe. All right. Listening and have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.